Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this training about If It Fits Your Macros. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenny Meyer. I am a certified personal trainer, a gym owner of a local 24-hour gym, and a mom to 3 little girls. So I do in-person training at my gym, 7B Fitness, and I also do online training, online boot camps, online VIP personal training as far as coming up with personalized individual plans. We check in, or the boot camps, we do a group setting on Facebook, and I do workout plans and all of that. So anyways, that is me. So today I wanted to talk about If It Fits Your Macros, and I have not done an If It Fits Your Macros training in a while, and I've gotten a lot of questions about it. So if you don't know me and you want to learn more about me, feel free to check out my website. At the end of this, I will put my website in the comments. It is jennymeyerfitness.com. It has the About Me section, talks a little bit more about my history. My background has not always been in fitness, health and fitness. My background was actually in social work, and I ran a social work business for a few years, and then just fell in love with fitness and wanted to go that route, and started that a few years ago and haven't looked back. So let's talk about If It Fits Your Macros now. So If It Fits Your Macros basically is what it sounds like. It's fitting foods into your macros. So let's go start prior to that. It's a flexible dieting plan based on where your calories are coming from, and not so much calories in versus calories out. So in a well-balanced diet, you have your carbohydrates, your proteins, and your fats. Those are your 3 macronutrients in a well-balanced diet. You want to be able to get all of those. So those are like the main composition of food, your carbs, proteins, and fats. So each one plays a different role in our body, and we need each one. Depending on what your goals are, whether it's building muscle, weight loss, whatever it may be, your macros may be different than someone else's. So you may be consuming more carbohydrates or more proteins than someone else that has different goals. So again, If It Fits Your Macros is where our calories come from, rather than just tracking our like a calorie number, so calories in versus calories out. So it's a flexible dieting plan. We most of everyone that follows an If It Fits Your Macros style plan does about 80% clean foods, whole foods, healthy foods, and 20%, they allot for 20% treats or not so healthy foods, whatever. So they never feel like they're deprived. You can still allot for that. So I want to briefly go over the 3 macros. So carbs, proteins, and fats. So the first one is carbohydrates. Carbs can be simple carbs or complex carbs. The simple carbs are those carbs that you get from fruits, sugars, veggies. They break down really fast in your system. You can either use them really quickly or you can store them very quickly. The complex carbs are the carbs that come from rice, potatoes, quinoa, grains, those types of foods. So these take a longer time to break down in our system. They help us feel full, so that's good, so we're not wanting to eat after that. They are either used as energy or stored. So when they're stored, they are stored as glycogen. When your glycogen stores are full, those are then stored as fat. So that's where you have the production of fat stores in your body. So 1 gram of carb equals 4 calories. So this is important when we get further into this as far as how to calculate your macros and what you, how many grams of what you should be eating. So when you hear that, like say a trainer or myself tells you that 50% of your macros is carbs, so your carbs are at 50%, that basically means that 50% of your calories are coming from carbohydrates. So in my boot camps, the carb cycling one specifically, we talk a lot about this because we're up and down on our carbs. We'll go from 10% up to 50%, and we fluctuate that a lot. So I'm not going to get into a whole lot more detail about like how to fluctuate that in this training, but we do talk about that a whole lot more in my boot camps. So now with proteins. Protein is another macronutrient. Your body cannot store protein. So protein you are constantly having to replenish, and you need protein. The basic amount that studies show right now that you need would be 0.6 up to 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body fat. So if you weigh 100 pounds, then you would at least need 60 grams of protein. That would be 0.6. So a good place to start in there is, I would say 0.8 is kind of a baseline good place to start. If you are wanting to gain more muscle, you increase that because the protein would then build up your muscles. So for me personally, I try to stay about 1 gram of protein per body per pound that I have. So I'm 135 pounds. I try to have 35 grams of protein every day. So like I said, as you build muscles and play with your different goals, you can increase that protein level, but don't let it drop below 0.6 per 0.6 grams per 1 pound of body fat. Or yes, sorry, per 1 pound of body weight. So next is fats as far as your macronutrients. So fats are really important in hormonal balance. So we need fats, but we need the healthy kind of fats. So the good fats consist of avocados, olive oil, nuts, eggs. All of those are good fats. So the difference between fats and carbs and proteins is 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. And I don't think I let you guys know, as far as protein, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So the same as carbs. So carbs, 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories. Proteins, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. Fats is a different story. So fat, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So that is why typically our grams of fat are less in our diet. So you want those, like your fat grams, to be less than your carbs and proteins. You don't want to have a high fat diet for too long. So as you can see, basically all of these macros are required in a well-balanced diet. So if we don't get our fats, our hormones can be all over the place. So fats are essential in that. Carbs give us energy. Proteins build up and help build our muscles and let us have like lean muscle, which we need to survive. We can't live with no muscle at all, protecting our bones and our organs and all of that. So what I tell a new client coming in, as far as where is the baseline do we start with tracking, what's the easiest to start? So an easy percentage breakdown would be 50% of your calories coming from carbohydrates, 30% of your calories are coming from fats, and 20% of your calories are coming from proteins. If you are watching this and you are in my current boot camp right now, we kind of have played around with it and we've done more protein. It's really, really hard to add in a ton of protein, but depending on your goals, you need that protein. So we've kind of messed around with it, but a good baseline would be 50% of your calories are coming from carbs, 30% fats, and 20% proteins. As you get further into your journey, as far as your goals and wanting to change things, maintain rather than weight loss or build muscle, you can adjust those. So with it, if it fits your macros, you are able to mess around with those, but it's not like a lot of people right now are talking about if it fits your macros and almost giving it a bad name, like that, oh my gosh, they just want to go eat McDonald's or whatever all the time. But no, you can allot for that. You can go have like a Big Mac, but I guarantee you that your fats and your carbs are going to be way up here and that you're not going to be getting barely any protein from that. So in order to meet your macros for that day, you're going to have to protein load either before or after, so that technically you're eating healthy, you know, throughout most of the day to then allot for that one Big Mac that you want. So as far as going into the holidays and learning how to have a balanced life and balanced nutrition throughout the holidays are hard. For me, like, it is flat out hard as far as food choices. All you want as it starts to get cold outside is something warm and comfort food. There's holiday parties literally every second that you turn around. There's something going on, at least in my life, that I didn't plan for, that I didn't know that was happening. So as far as if it fits your macros through those parts of life and holiday season, if you are focusing on meeting your macros for carbs, proteins, and fats, and you plan out your day, whatever it may be, if you are focusing on eating clean, healthy foods, most of the time, when you add in that treat, it's not going to blow your day. If you know that you're having a party that evening, so like take me for tomorrow example. So I have a get together tomorrow night that I know a lot of fatty foods will be served and a lot of carbs. So I guarantee you there's not going to be a lot of protein. So for me tomorrow, in the morning and the most of the day, I'm going to be focusing on keeping my protein super high. So come the end of the day, I can allot for those carbs and fats, and it's okay. It's not going to blow my progress. I'm not going to gain weight from it. So if you go into this holiday season being able to do that and not getting down on yourself and hating yourself when you do have that treat, it's so much more rewarding. So that's why it's called flexible dieting. You get back on it the next day. So then come Saturday, I'm going to be focused on eating clean. I don't have anything planned Saturday, or I take that back. I actually do, but you don't have anything planned the next day. You can eat clean that day and you're good. And that treat and that event on Friday is not going to blow your whole progress and blow your whole week. That's the basis behind this type of lifestyle. So basically, I want to kind of get into, I know this is going to be really like technical as far as numbers and stuff, but I want to be able to give you guys how the basics between like how you find your macros. So if you are starting from scratch, you have no idea. So a good way to do this is, one, you're going to first take your body weight. So you're going to weigh yourself. You are going to, depending if you are more lean already, I want your protein to be higher, but if you still have a lot of body fat, you're trying to lose weight, your protein will be a little bit less. So you're going to take your body weight, you are going to times that by anywhere between 0.6 and 1. So we're going to go with the 0.8, just the basic, like baseline, this is how much protein we should have. So we're going to use me as an example. 135 pounds times 0.8 for protein. That equals 108 grams of protein a day. So I take the 108 grams of protein and I times that by 4, because there is 4 calories in 1 gram. That equals 432 calories of protein. So I need 432 of my calories are coming from protein. That's what I need to focus on. So then we're going to write down that number, 432, which equals 108 grams of protein. Fat, I'm going to, your baseline for fat is going to be 0.3 up to 0.45. That is a good fat range to start with as far as getting new into if it fits your macros and understanding what your body needs. So 0.3 to 0.45 grams of fat per 1 pound of body weight that you have. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to do 0.4 grams of fat times 135 pounds equals 54 grams of fat that I will be consuming a day. So there is 9 calories in 1 gram of fat. So that comes out to 486 calories are coming from a fat source. So I write down that number. So I have my 432 calories, 108 grams of protein over here. I have my 486 calories coming from a fat source, which equals out 54 grams of fat right here. And I add those 2 calorie totals together. So I add the 432 plus the 486, and that equals 918 calories. So that is basically your math. So you keep that off to the side. As far as figuring out your calorie total, a good place to start is you take your body weight times either 10, 11, or 12. So if you are wanting to lose weight, you're going to go more towards that 10. And if you're wanting to maintain, you don't have a whole lot of weight to lose, you're going to do more of that 12. So 135 pounds, I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to be on the 12 side. I don't have a whole lot of weight to lose, so I just want to maintain. 135 pounds times 12 equals 1,620 calories. So that's going to be my baseline calories, 1,620. So then I have my 1,620. I added up my calories from proteins and fats, which that total was 918. So I take 1,620 minus the 918 equals 702 calories left over. So this is my leftover. So I don't have to make this into carbs. I can add more protein if I want. I can add a little bit more fat if I want, but for the sake of this training, I'm going to turn those calories into my carb macros. So 702 calories are left over. So what I do is you take the 702 and you divide that by 4. So 702 divided by 4, because there is 4 calories in 1 gram of carbs. That would tell you how many grams of carbs you need. So that equals 175 grams of carbs. So I should have gotten a better piece of paper. I'm going to draw this little circle out for you guys. So, and it may be backwards on here. I hope not. So I have 1,620 calories for the day. And then my little macro chart is going to consist of carbs, proteins, and fats. My carbs are going to be 175 grams, which equals 702 calories are coming from carbs. My proteins are going to be 108 grams, which equaled 418, I believe. So that 432 calories. And then my fats are at 54 grams, which equal 486 calories. So that equals 1,620. So this may be backwards to you guys, but here is my little, and it's super scratchy, sorry. So here is my pie chart. I have my carbs at 175 grams, my proteins at 108, and my fats at 54. So this is just a basic place to start. So if I am, again, having a treat that night that most likely consists of carbs and fats, I'm going to be front loading with protein. I'm going to wake up and eat protein. I am going to get as much protein in my system as I can to allot for that evening when I'm going to have a ton of carbs and a ton of fats. At the end of the day, it should come out to pretty close. Pie chart is where, as far as this pie chart, myself and I teach my clients to use MyFitnessPal, because we can look at this pie chart and input our foods, and it will calculate. It will change throughout the day. If I have eggs and say sausage for breakfast, that's going to be, my pie chart is going to be consisted of protein and fats, and it's going to appear that I've had no carbs, which I haven't for the day. Come the end of the day, when I go to a party and I allot for my 20% and I have a piece of cake, my carbs are going to come back and fill in that pie chart. So overall, I'm going to be watching my grams of carbs, proteins, and fats and getting somewhere close to it. You don't have to hit it right on the nose every time, but I am going to be watching that and trying to hit those grams every day. If one day I know that I don't know, I have a different schedule that day, I'm not going to be able to get a workout in, whatever, I can lower my carbs if I want to, which I have been teaching my girls in my boot camp right now to lower your carbs on your non-workout days, because I'm not using those as energy throughout the day as much. So I can change that and lower my carbs, increase my proteins and fats for that day, and still have this nice pie chart. So I just want to talk basically just about a few tips that you guys can use in your everyday life, whether you're doing If It Fits Your Macros or whatever you are doing. If you're not following anything too, these are still good tips. So the first one would be on days that you work out super hard and you lift weights, you are working your muscle, you're sweating, you are basically breaking down your muscle, so it repairs and becomes stronger, because we all need to lift weights. And I am a big advocate for women lifting weights, especially. I lift super heavy weights, and I am not bulky like a lot of people think that you become. I consider myself lean and strong, and it's amazing the way you feel when you go lift more than the man that's in the gym next to you, right? So ladies, lift weights, but your body needs the carbohydrates on those days. So it needs the energy. When you're lifting weights, you're pulling from the glycogen storage. You're using all of your carbs. So the body needs that. So on days that you lift weights, focus on higher carbohydrates on that day, and carbohydrates before and after you work out, as well as protein before and after. But the big thing is carbs on the days you lift weights. Super important. The next one is basically, if you're following the If It Fits Your Macros lifestyle, follow the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time you are eating clean, whole foods, healthy foods, and 20% of the time you are allowing yourself some treats so you don't feel deprived. The hardest thing sometimes for myself and some of my clients is not stopping. So when you allow yourself to have that treat, don't binge eat, don't eat everything in sight just because. You need to still track that. You need to write it down, put it in MyFitnessPal, so it is coming out of your macro breakdown. So get back on track, but doing it this way is going to allow you to have that glass of wine, because in a lot of my boot camps, there's no alcohol for that time. No alcohol, no dairy, no gluten. In If It Fits Your Macros, you can have a glass of wine a night. You input it, it will come off of your carbs. So just a lot for that. But you need to always input. So after a couple months of inputting stuff and writing everything down that you eat, you're going to get a good sense of what a normal day looks like for you. So you don't need to always do this the rest of your life. There's some days that I do not input my stuff into MyFitnessPal anymore, because I know what my breakfast consists of. If I know how many protein grams, how many fat grams, and carbs. And so you learn this over time. If you are just getting into this journey and learning how to track and starting this process, do it for a while until you feel confident that you can stop doing this and you're not going to gain all that weight back. So the first tip was to lift weights on days that you lift weights. Your body needs more carbs. It needs that energy. You have to replace those glycogen stores. Your body needs carbs. Stop with the full-time low-carb diets. I hate them. I believe in doing low carb at times, but your body needs those carbs, but get them from healthy sources. And the next one is follow the 80% of the time you are eating clean, 20% of the time you allot for treats, whether that's your glass of wine or your piece of chocolate at night or you're going to a party. But make sure it fits in your grams for the day as far as carbs, fats, and proteins. And another tip is, actually a lot of times people don't realize this, but focus on getting proteins and fats towards the beginning of your day and save your carbs more towards the end of the day. I know this is totally opposite from what is taught sometimes, but your body, after when you first wake up in the morning, if you're eating a ton of carbs, your body does not know how to process that, and it's more likely to store as fat. If you wait to have that after you're up, you're moving around, you are exerting energy, your body knows how to process those carbs and to either use them as energy, store them as glycogen, or whatnot, but your body knows how to use them and they're less likely to store as fat. So focus on protein and fats in the morning and your carbs more so in the afternoon. But that's the basics of the If It Fits Your Macros. I do go more into detail as far as different percentages, different grams, having more carbs, less carbs, and everything in your pie chart in my boot camps. And so I do have an If It Fits Your Macros boot camp coming up on November 21st. This is a 4-week boot camp. It is a private group on Facebook where I give you the workouts. I give you your grams of each, the carbs, proteins, and fats, teach you how to use the MyFitnessPal, and every day I want to see your nutrients for that day. I want to see how many carbs you had, how many proteins and fats, and if you stayed within your range for the day. So I'm holding you accountable, giving you workouts to do on certain days that you'll be able to follow and click a link and see a YouTube video. If you don't know how to do it, you can follow that so you're doing the move correctly. These boot camps are so much fun. The ladies in them are absolutely incredible, and I love working with everyone. I'm available pretty much all day, every day. Sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to answer questions, but I am available. So basically you have access to a personal trainer throughout that 4-week time, nonstop. And overall, the boot camps are super fun. Ladies get incredible results. So I do have this starting on November 21st. So the first week is Thanksgiving. So I am going to be there holding you accountable, being your support through Thanksgiving. However, in this particular boot camp, I am going to have my clients not stress so much about what they eat on Thanksgiving. So make healthy choices, a lot for a piece of pumpkin pie, but for the most part, don't stress about it. If you want some potatoes, have some potatoes. But I am going to highly recommend that you get a workout in the morning. So you are lifting heavy first thing in the morning if you can, and then with what you eat the rest of the day, your body knows how to process it, knows how to use that, and it's not storing as fat because your metabolism is in high gear because you worked out, you worked your muscles earlier in the day. So that's kind of just an insight into this particular boot camp coming up. So over the next 2 months, I will be doing the If It Fits Your Macros boot camp. We start November 21st. I will have another one starting in December. I have not nailed down that date yet, but I will not be focusing on the carb cycling through this time of year because it is hard and I don't want to set my clients up for failure. So if you are wanting to learn more about the macros, kind of just to maintain, you can lose weight through the holidays if that's your goal. I help you figure out your macro breakdown before we start and where your calories should be at. So let me know. I am going to put the link to and actually a discounted price for this boot camp. Typically my boot camps are $129 and up as far as the prices go. But for this, if you are watching this and watching this replay in the next 24 hours, I am offering this for $99. So click the link in the comments if you want to sign up and get this sale price. I would love to work with you, answer any questions. So that is basically it today. So thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me either on Facebook. Jenny Meyer Fitness is my Facebook page, or on my website. And I will also put that in the comments as well. And that is jennymeyerfitness.com. and click the contact page, and I would love to chat with you guys and answer any questions. So have a great rest of your day. See ya.